Well, good morning and thanks very much. It was interesting around sustainability. We've got to look at it from a global point of view by all means, but also a national perspective, a city perspective, a local council perspective, a family perspective, an individual perspective. And I think when you get down to individuals and to small groups, you realise you can make a difference. And a small difference by one on 6 billion people makes a large difference. So I think when we look at sustainability, start to realise what we can do as individuals, what we can do in the people we influence, and whether that be greenhouse gas, whether it be waste, whether that be recycling. And I think it's a big challenge, but too often I see that it's someone else's issue or someone else's work. So I think through my speech, what can we do is very, very important. I've enjoyed listening to Peter and Fiona, so thanks very much. I don't have slides, and being an engineer I would normally have 50. But I thought I'd just talk a little bit about the topic that I was given, which was green steel and the journey we've had with the University of New South Wales for the past 10 years. So when I was given this by Vina, I thought, oh wow, there's a lot to this, and my thoughts went to, actually we've done a lot. We've met so many great people along the way. We've actually got enduring friendships, which is actually very important to us. We've had tremendous business insight, and we've had a lot of learning along the way. And most importantly, it's actually set up a lot of exciting possibilities for the future. So when I think about the 10 years, I've actually only played a very small part, but there's been a collaborative association between Arrium and the University of New South Wales that I'll talk a bit about in the future, particularly on how it started, what have been some of our successes, and what does the future look like. If I start with Arrium, to give you a little bit of context, we're an iron ore miner in South Australia. We have a global mining consumables business, as been mentioned, in North America, South America and Asia Pacific. But we also own the One Steel operations in Australia. And this is where the business or the association first started in 2003 between Arrium and the UNSW. And the idea was, how do we actually use some of the waste plastics and waste rubber to inject into a steel furnace to reduce the carbon input and also improve some of the operating efficiencies. We saw the opportunity to consume waste plastic, whether it be bags, containers, the plastic shopping bags, waste rubber, particularly the used car tyres, to substitute the carbon. But when we actually done the research, we found that there were many, many more benefits associated with it. And one of my colleagues, Paul O'Kane, will talk about this a little bit later, so I won't steal any of his thunder. As the initial Arrium sponsor of this work, we actually had to develop a business plan to acquire an exclusive licence from the University of New South Wales through their New South Innovation Centre. And if we were successful in acquiring this licence, it would actually enable Arrium to sell the technology to the global steel industry. So if I pause here to make a few comments, this was really different for Arrium because, what's the market, what are the products, are people going to buy from us, and we'll make the steel and we'll sell the steel. So buying technology and selling technology was very, very different to us. And I think at the time it was also quite different for the University of New South Wales, where they were looking to generate a royalty-based revenue stream from selling technology rather than undertaking research and publishing it and feeling good about it. So at the time I reflected, how are we going to make this business structure work? How's this relationship going to endure, given that our goals and our skills were quite different at the start? In the last few days, in preparation for my speech, I actually reviewed the original business plan. I looked at the UNSW Arrium agreement, or the then One Steel agreement. I actually looked at the board documents that I had to prepare all them years ago, and back in 2007 when we formalised the relationship. My board paper was 3 pages long. The business plan and target market segments was clear, it was concise. There was a real absence in the agreement on, warranties, protection, guarantees, remedies, just in case we didn't get along. But what it really reflected that we went into the relationship with a real collaboration and approach that we really wanted to work together. And importantly, I sort of remember it was actually really exciting. It really challenged our thinking around the way we did our business, and it actually forced Arrium to be entrepreneurial, rather than being a steel company. And that was a tremendous lift for not only me, but for all the people involved. So I actually started to look at the benefits, and there were many more than just a collaboration, so to speak. When I reflect on the initial work between UNSW and Arrium and the successful nature of our partnership 10 years on, there are a few points. The science must be good, okay? And in this case, the science was very good. And without this foundation of very good science, and then actually being able to use it in a practical industrial setting, the outcomes that we've achieved would not have been possible. So good quality research is the foundation. And number two, people must have courage and conviction to follow through on the project. So getting the right people, doing the right work, and having the right mindset is absolutely critical. The polymer technology, the research, the experimentation, it could have stopped on so many fronts all them years ago. I jotted some down. Money could have run out. Resources could have been diverted. It was too risky. I remember, we're going to put plastics that's going to generate hydrogen into our steel-making furnace. These guys are dreaming. It could have been too risky to do. We had a lot of competing business priorities at the time. And then, needless to say, when people get a bit concerned about their personal reputations, things can go slow sometimes as well. Getting the polymer. The original idea was to use plastic bags, and then as we started to move on, we started to look at other race materials. At the time, the EPA, we had licensing barriers at the time, and we had to work through, and that was done very professionally. And there were, of course, the plethora of early setbacks that we just had to get through. And this is where real leadership was required. Aristotle was quoted, "Courage is the first virtue that makes all other virtues possible." And for me, the adversity that can come, and usually at the most inopportune times, I really appreciated the way UNSW and the Arrium people worked together and just worked through the issues. Whether they're real barriers or perceived barriers, whether the time slippages, whether they were selling or commercialisation delays or customer hesitancies, I think the come back to having courage and having conviction actually does carry the day. My third point when I reflected was choose your partners carefully. And when you've got them, trust them, work with them. As testament to the journey so far, UNSW have only been honourable, transparent, and fully cooperative. This has created a wonderful platform to share, learn and explore, and may it long continue on behalf of Arrium. Now, I'll tell you one of my fond memories. Early in the relationship, the courting was going on, there was a real question around how do we manage this technology, what do we want to publish to protect the IP, where do we want to publish, how do we manage the IP and the patents, and of course, what do we say to the media? We at Arrium, in typical form, wanted to say nothing because we wanted to see if the technology worked and it was well proven, and then we were prepared to go out and start to sell it. The UNSW, of course, were very keen from day one to talk about the potential benefits of the recycling of tyres and plastic and the benefit to industry, the benefit to society. So, this went to and fro for a little while. And as a compromise, following, I think, an award that the joint work between UNSW and Arrium, I actually agreed to do a radio interview with a Victorian radio station to talk about our approach to recycling rubber and plastic into our steel-making processes and what a great environmental outcome this was. I must say, I don't do this for my day job, talking on radio, and I was a little bit reluctant to do live radio, given the technical nature of explaining steel and how this polymer stuff worked, and get it across in a succinct sort of way. Anyway, the interview proceeded, and I felt the questions went pretty well. You know, the radio host finally summed up and says, "There you have it. Arriums takes plastic bags, puts them in a furnace, and they make steel. It's just so easy." And I realised as a chemical engineer I did a lousy job trying to explain technology over radio, but the radio host did a great job making it sound so easy. If I actually turn to some of our successes, success, like beauty, is always in the eye of the beholder. And if I think about success in the UNSW and Arrium relationship, I can only describe it as rich, multifaceted, and importantly filled with future possibility. In terms of our successes, I list the following benefits. UNSW provides us with access to breakthrough knowledge and technology. The relationship provides us the ability to leverage business and research capability for good societal and good business outcomes. Success has also seen the development of individuals and teams to deliver excellent business outcomes. It's actually helped us create sustainable competitive advantages in our industry, and Peter, you spoke about, do you want to be a laggard, do you want to be a winner, do you want to be a dreamer? Well, we all have that choice. This association also builds brand credibility, not only for UNSW but also for Arrium. And I think most importantly, the partnerships delivered tangible and meaningful environmental benefits to the recycling of considerable volumes of waste products, and Paul will talk a bit about that. I think when we first joined, 10 years ago, the association from the UNSW came with a waste focus. And for me, it was actually access to knowledge, clever people, technology, facilities. And it was amazing that as we combined these elements, we've delivered some very good society benefits, but also some very good business benefits. If I turn to the term green steel, it's really a description of our production processes incorporating the recycling of potentially waste products, whether it be plastics or rubber, into steel. The importance of environmental outcomes and efficiency in the Australian construction industry is recognised by a Green Star rating. With our recycling technology, it has actually enhanced our Green Star rating, providing our business with a competitive advantage against others. On projects like Barbagallo, our Green Star outcomes won us business. So you can see by incorporating research into good business outcomes, you can actually create future outcomes, which is tremendous. So with a background of 10 years, it's been great that Arriums had the opportunity to commit to another important research project to conduct research using waste packaging to increase wear resistance of our minor consumable products. And given our experience, it was just so easy to commit these funds, even though I had to make it a little bit hard for Vina. The new project is known as the ARC, Research Hub for Transforming Waste Directly into Cost-Effective Green Manufacturing. The Green Manufacturing Research Hub will create a unique opportunity for completely different industries to come together with a common goal of creating value from mixed plastic and glass waste and manufacturing. I think starting with a fundamental investigation of the transformation behaviour of waste materials under high temperature conditions, we'll look to develop scalable solutions to reducing the consumption of primary resources that are usually diverted to landfill. For Arrium, the potential of using such transformation to yield products such as wear-resistant grinding media will be established. We're the global leader in grinding media. We're 4.5 times bigger than number 2 in the world. These are the areas we're trying to continue to be winners. If we stand still, people will pass us. And interesting, the work started probably a little quicker than some had expected, but had a recent update, And it's just great to report that the early results from the work has actually been surprising. It's been encouraging, and I really look forward to seeing what knowledge and business opportunities are presented as the work progresses. I'd like to take a moment to look at the people lens. People make the difference. The UNSW and Arrium relationship has seen a vast array of job opportunities, research opportunities, cultural and life experiences, and of course, significant career development success. Arrium ourselves employ a large number of UNSW graduates and PhD students. With my own business, I'm seeing the UNSW graduates contributing to the success of my business. Many of them have travelled the globe, working and living in Peru, Chile, Canada, Asia, and of course Australia. Many of these UNSW graduates have branched into production engineering or process engineering, research, sales and marketing, and of course into leadership roles. Arrium as a business and myself as a leader feel really good about our role in developing great talent and in creating our future leaders. So thanks to the UNSW, the creation of the green steel concept, the continued ARC funding from the government, this has all contributed to a combined sense of purpose and a desire to create a better future. So, what does the future look like? The time since our first engagement in 2003 has gone very fast. Between the UNSW and Arrium, we've built a level of trust and respect about what both parties can bring to the partnership. As I've mentioned, UNSW bring high quality research thinking, breakthrough technology, fantastic analysis, and continuing to test where no one's gone before, if I pick up that phrase. Arrium for ourselves, we have a market, we have a business understanding, we have some resources, and I think it actually allows us to dream and continue to be winners in the grinding media space. So we may be unlikely allies, but I believe tremendous partners as we continue to leverage our respective strengths. When I reflect on the future, the past doesn't necessarily guarantee a great future. So in any relationship, association or partnership, it's about how we work together. In this regard, Vina and many of my colleagues today, whether it be Paul O'Kane or Ian Tooze or Daniel Miles or Yeshi, and I'm going to not name them all, unfortunately. They've been a glue that actually made this relationship so special. Their passion, their energy, their commitment draws more and more people into the work. And if I can use the analogy like moths to a flame, this small group has created a compelling and exciting environment for so many people and will endure. For this, I thank them, I applaud them, and I appreciate them. And as I summarise, and on the speech, I've only played a small part, but if we all play a small part, we can create a very large part. Arrium has achieved a lot, UNSW has achieved a lot, and I'm excited to be involved in the future research possibilities. I hope this presentation has provided some insight and detail on our journey to date, and on how to integrate business and research successfully, how to set up a partnership, how do you give accountability to individuals and teams, empower them, support them, and let them achieve. How can business also address the growing waste and recycling issues and create opportunities, not in Australia, but overseas? That you can create future business opportunities with access to cutting-edge research and technology, and that's why I'm so keen about the Research Foundation. The collective relationship between University of New South Wales, Arrium, our customers, our suppliers, the government, and our employees has provided such positive outcomes in terms of new careers, new research opportunities, new business options. And along the way, we've collected a number of awards, whether it be in Australia or overseas. We've delivered better environmental, we've delivered better operational efficiencies, and probably most importantly, by geez, we had some fun along the way. So with this, I will close, and I'll thank you very much. Morning.